All right, coming up next will be the Super Farm category. They'll look like old school tractors, but they'll tug hard and blow out that black smoke. Stay with us. All right, John Deere Green is going to kick off the category here at the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals presented by WyoTech. Welcome to the Super Farm category. And Leslie, as you well know, this is a vicious class.
So many different winners already over the course of the season, and these guys are in the heart of it trying to chase down that championship.
Tugs at RPMs down right at the very end. The perfect storm goes 311.05. It is a tough tractor to say the least. 3 top 3s so far this season, including a couple of wins, and off to a great start here. I can't imagine he turns this one down.
5 weights in the box there, an extra 10,000 pounds on the 36,000 pound sled. So we're 46,000 pounds of dead weight on that starting line that's going to roll out there and be closer once they get to the end there to about 175,000 pounds of rolling weight. So we're talking in excess of 2 fully loaded semi-tractor trailers going down the highways, what these guys are pulling.
Okay, we take a look at our pulling order. As you can see, Michael Snepp at the top of the list there with the perfect storm, and then the rest will follow down through there. And a championship definitely in the works here for this season. There's a lot of pulls for these guys, and 6 of them completed so far, as we're really about the midway point of the season.
And this is where things start to get hot and heavy. We've got 2 hooks up here in Hillsboro this weekend, and then everything happens in a hurry. So the season will end in a matter of about 3 weeks.
Viagra King is the name of the tractor, and 3:02 and 52 is the distance right there for Aaron.
Aaron Geisler, a guy coming to us from our Badger State Tractor Pullers, as we take a look at the standings so far. Blaine Fraker, the Agitator, up top by 10 points. That's 5 places as Josh Miley is hunting them down in high maintenance. And Peter Norton and Michael Snepp, we're seeing Michael tonight here in the perfect storm in a close 3rd place. But with 6 events remaining, those points are really nil as close as they are.
Yeah, a lot of pulling yet to go here to win a championship. You cannot let up.
Steve Friedemann brings the Pale Rider to the track here in his home state of Wisconsin.
Oh, man, that thing starts to hop right at the very end, the front end up and down. He's been on the podium a couple of times this year, including at our last event at the Indy Super Bowl and the season opener. But, boy, I'll tell you, he really struggled there. He just kind of missed the setup with the weight, it looks like.
Well, here's his teammate now, Nick Skaar, the screaming Norwegian. And he's really making a hard charge here as we go back to the Indy Super Bowl, that midpoint of the season, round 6. And he just storms off the line with a nice straight pass to blow past everyone and put himself on top of the podium. And that really helped him in the points chase. I believe it moved him 2 points up in the race, and he's really chasing after a 3rd championship.
A good look at the foot-activated brake pedals, individual brakes for the rear wheels. Yeah, 2 wins and 3 podiums, but he's had some highs and lows this year for sure. 3, 10, and 10 is going to be one of those highs, though. That'll get him up there into 2nd place. A beautiful effort there out of Nick Skaar.
And you can see him looking around that huge stack to get a good line on the track to see exactly where he is. A little lift to the front end early, but maybe a little heavy with that 9,300-pound weight distribution. Maybe moved a couple weights back. He can leg it out just a bit further. Just one of the variables, those that these Super Farm guys can use to help them gain more distance is moving around. They've probably got about 1,500 pounds of movable weight out there, and they can put it wherever they can.
Our next competitor is going to be Brent Weber. Brent Weber driving a tractor called Never Say Never, and Crash spoke with him.
Well, there is a story behind the name Never Say Never, and Brett, I want to hear this story. How did you get this name?
Well, I was working on it in 2003. It was for a a smaller hot farm class, and they ended up doing away with the class, and Josh was already in super farm, so I said, well, I might as well build a super farm and just go when you go, because I'm win all the time anyway. And I mean, it sat in the shop forever, you know, just working on it at times when you could. And a guy said, man, you'll never get that done. I said, oh, yeah, you got to watch what you say. You know, never's a long time. And different people would come and go. And you ever going to get that done? You're never going to get that done. That's what they kept telling me. So I thought, man, you know, and I seen a Wile E. Coyote cartoon, and they were singing that song. And so I thought, man, that'd be a good name. I'll get the Coyote and paint that on there. And it worked out. And they were surprised when I finally did get it done.
And it took him 10 years to get it out on the track. So from 2003 to 2013, the Never Say Never machine was a work in progress.
Beautiful machine as well, the Farmall. And kind of misses the mark a little bit with the International Harvester Farmall machine at 289 and 76. Nonetheless, had a great time, came out here, got a little bit of dirt on that tractor. Michael Snepp up top, followed by Nick Skaar, and then Aaron Gensel. We'll be back.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League is brought to you by Speedco Truck Lube and Tires, built for speed, staffed for quality, delivering world-class value. Optima Batteries, the ultimate power source. And by Wyotech. Enroll today. Turn pro at Wyotech.
Beautifully red painted tractor here at the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Wyotech. And that is Dan Viney. The tractor's called Crank It Up, as we watch another one of the Internationals try to jump up front.
Gets a little wild and hoppy on this ride.
Well, that really tugged it down, too, down out of the RPM band, it would appear, until, of course, you look at the number, and then the 309 pops up, and guess what, man? I mean, that's a serious effort. Jumps up into the top three.
And just quality. And this Viney team out of Wisconsin, you know, they've kind of been the spoilers this year. You know, they jump on the podium, you know, in a lot of different places with us on the tour, and they're not even in the points chase. And so they're kind of out here. I think they're kind of feeling things out to see if they want to come run the full Champions Tour circuit next year. And, you know, that's what a lot of our, you know, local guys, as far as the Wisconsin Badger State Tractor Pullers Association, do. They come out here to Hillsboro. It's a close event for them, and they see how they compare against the big guys.
Certainly did a good job as it stands right now, safely inside of the top five and currently inside of the top three. Well, Crash Gladys spoke with Mac Darnell earlier.
Look who's behind the wheel this weekend. It's Mac Darnell driving the tractor, and it's been Brooke, it's been Clay, it's been you. Talk about this passing the torch thing, and does that make you feel good, or are you a little sad that it's kind of going off to the next generation?
Oh, no, it makes us feel good. You know, this is a family sport, and I have more pride in watching my kids run both tractors, and I'm being able to stay back on the sidelines and get things set up. So it just makes you feel good when they make a good pass and when they do well.
When do you feel like you're in their face a little too much, telling them what to do, and when you need to back off?
Well, all the time. We're always trying to get them to drive a little bit better, and you know, trying to explain what their mistakes are. But other than that, both kids do a very good job. You know, I'm very proud of both of them. You know, hopefully good things will come in the future.
Well, he's already done a great job, because we know that Clay won that championship back in 2012 under the tutelage of his father.
.292 and 19 will be the distance here for the Red Scorpion. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty tough field here tonight. You have to be on your game to get up there with the leaders.
It's interesting, too, Darnell putting that over on the left sideline where we saw our mini rods have some success, but our leaders so far right dead center in the track.
All right, up next, Bleeding Green's the name of the tractor. Typically David Smithback, but tonight it's going to be Jay.
Lots of speed on this run.
Love the name of the tractor as well. That's awesome, and a really solid effort out here. 3:13 and 48. That is good enough to take the lead.
Put the sled dead center, as you can see here, but check out the power that he gets and the hookup that he gets. You saw some sparks fly from the clutch there as well, but picks the front end up early and keeps all that momentum going forward, and you can see that General Tire box topping off at the very end. Probably about the 290 mark here on our Super Farm tractors on this particular sled setup, but he just lugs and chugs on out there. Just a great job here by the Smithback team.
Yeah, really nice effort, man. That's going to be a big number to get out and surpass to pick up the win here tonight. Jeremy Roberts is going to give it a shot, though. Wicked Whitetail is the next in line. He's had a reasonably tough year and is not going to get a whole lot better here. 300.09 gets him out past a whole bunch of tractors, but not up there with the leaders.
About the 225 mark, he started to run into some problems there and got some hops, and just unloading and reloading those tires just so detrimental to the run out there. And if you can drive around that spot in the track and you can keep it smooth sailing out the end, that's what you've got to do.
It's called Just Another Buck, of course, making reference to the John Deere. Driver behind the wheel, Brandon Coates. And a beautiful distance out of him, right up there in the hunt. 3:10 and 66.
These Wisconsin tractors are just so tough, and you can see that he's also moving a lot of really good air. As you can see, that big plume of black diesel smoke. It's very nice and tight and narrow coming out of the stack. And so just moving the air through that 3-inch turbo. That's all these guys have. You know, they're creating so much horsepower, like right around 1,500 horsepower with just a 3x3 turbo. It's pretty amazing.
Good enough to sneak him into third place around Nick Skaar by 6 inches. The course is clear. Green flag flying for the next international in line, and that's Clay Darnell, a maximum overdrive. He bounces the front end up and down pretty violently right at the very end of the effort. 3:04 and 46.
And you can see these guys very light on the nose, only about 550 pounds out front. They could need to move a little bit back if they want some more traction. But Jay Smithback, your leader so far with a few to go.
It's a beautiful night here in Hillsboro, Wisconsin for tractor and truck pulling. This is the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals presented by Wyotech. Up next, Josh Miley. Second in the points with a high maintenance tractor. 3 podiums, 5 top 5s in the first 6 pulls. He is having a great season.
And he ran into that same troublesome spot on the track that we've seen plague so many of our other pullers as he goes 3:06 and 23.
Yeah, he knows how critical this is. I mean, he has to keep Blaine Fraker within reach if he's going to have a shot at this championship. He can't lay up short now.
The man who promotes this pull, where all the proceeds go to charity, Don Slama is a very, very busy man on the weekend, so the Fast and Furious machine kind of the last thing on his mind.
Don with 1 podium on the season so far, comes out and does a nice job as well. 3:07 and 21, and that hikes him up in there in the battle for sure in the top 5.
And, you know, he's got to be happy with that, especially since he's been running around so much today, taking care of everything else to make sure that we've got a great, successful event here. You can hear Tad Ingram spooling up the natural disaster. I just love to watch that pipe and see it come to life as you saw just a little bit of flame out of the stack.
Tad, who grabbed a podium spot, third place back at Fairfield earlier in the year, 3:10 and 60. Another beautiful effort here. And well, I tell you, man, there's a bunch of tractors closing right in there in that 3:10 area. We've had 3:10.10, 3:10.60, and 3:10.66. Misses the top three by a fraction of an inch.
Just a tribute to the competitors in this class and how close the competition is. You know, with this class, probably more so than any, you know, the specs of the tractor, everybody's got pretty much the same P pump. Everybody's at 640 cubic inches. Everybody's running that same 3.3 turbo out here, but then it comes down to the driver, and it just goes to show what great drivers and veterans we have in this category when so many of them are so close.
Here comes the man. What a great season he's having as well. Blaine Fraker, our points leader, on board the Agitator. 4 podium finishes in the first 6 events and has kept that thing in the top 5 at every pull.
Taking a chance over there on that right sideline.
Well, and it pays off to some degree. Most importantly, at 3:09 and 54, it gets him out past Josh Miley.
And that's what he's got to do. He's got to stay ahead of Josh Miley. He's not going to get out past Michael Snepp in the perfect storm, who is chasing him down as well. But this solid effort right here is what wins championships. And this is what he's got to do at the time. He's got to just stay up there, top 5-ish. He's going to be outside of that tonight, but he's got to stay ahead of those guys, and he's got to stay consistent.
Yeah, it's a good call. So Michael Snepp still looking at him, will close the gap a little bit, as will Nick Skaar on the Screaming Norwegian. Both of those having a little bit better effort here tonight. You get a little bit closer to the points leader.
This will be the other half of the Viney team from Wisconsin. This time, Jason Viney. This one called All Cranked Up.
Well, it might not have been the prettiest looking effort, but look at the number on the board, 3:13 and 24, and he misses a lead by less than 3 inches.
It's just amazing. He really carried the front end well till about half track, and then it came down, and he had to lift it back up. And so you can see his whole shot is very, very good. As he stiff arms, it goes full throttle right away. A little bit high on the launch. Look how nicely it carried. Then it kind of bobbles up and down, but he's got so much speed built up by this point that he's just going to chug right on past those hops that have been plaguing everyone else out there and sucking out their distances. And so that's what's going to propel him to that number 2 spot, is just a lot of ground speed, staying in that throttle early and able to carry the front end half track.
All right, our current leader is Jay Smithback, and 1 tractor yet to go.
The Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League has been brought to you by Ion Camera, the lightest, fastest, fully waterproof HD action camera on the market. Speedco Truck Lube and Tires, built for speed, staffed for quality, delivering world-class value. And by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world.
1 tractor yet to go here in the Super Farm category at the Napa Pro Pulling Nationals, presented by Wyotech, and it's Chuck Guntherberg. Positive Ground is the name of the tractor. International is going to try to steal it all. It's a beautiful machine. He does a solid job here, but not enough to take the win.
So 3:04 and 47, very respectable to end the class here for the International. But tonight, the win's going to belong to Jay Smithback.
Home state Wisconsin winner, and by, oh, get this, 2.5 tenths of a foot. That's calling it a little too close.
Yeah, you come up here and run against the best of the best, and you got to worry about your neighbors.
Yeah, what's up with that? Come on, but at least you ended up on the winning side.
Yeah, we got a pretty tight-knit, good tractors down our way, and we showcased them tonight.
One thing, your dad's name is still on the tractor. How do we get your name on, Mr. Winner?
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. We'll have to take that up with supervisors, I guess.
All right, go celebrate this win.
All right, thank you very much.
And you can see another Wisconsin tractor, Jason Viney, going to take second place and all cranked up. And Michael Snepp rounding out the top three there in the perfect storm in this amazing field of tractors here at Hillsboro. Back down to the podium for second place.
Well, Jason Viney has a second place this year, and that's one up from last year. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit happier in the third place. I'll take that any day.
What was different from last year to now?
Really not much. We don't change a whole lot from year to year, and I don't know.
I guess if it's resulting in podiums, you don't have to change much, right? You're happy with the setup that you have.
That's correct. We didn't really change much tonight from what we usually do, and didn't really change any gears or anything, and just waited it right, I guess, to do it.
From last year to tonight, you went from third to second, so don't change anything because that automatically means you're going to get first tomorrow.
I hope you're right when you say that.
Just go get them.
I'll try.
All right, here's a look at the points. Take a look at that, man. Tied up in second place now. The perfect storm. Michael Snepp able to jump up there with this good effort tonight and locks up in a tie with Josh Miley. Let's go back down to the podium and talk to Michael Snepp.
Well, Michael Snepp goes out first of the night and still manages the podium. How did this happen? Because it seemed like the track might have come around for some guys.
I don't know. I think the track pretty well stayed consistent all night. I mean, we made the best shot we could make. I looked at Peter and told him to make the call, and he said keep it, so that's what we did.
Were you sweating it out a bit?
Oh, yeah. I told somebody as the class was going on that I think I lost 5 years of my life tonight. So, but, I mean, had a heck of a class, and we're tickled with third, so.
And of course, if you want to get exclusive video highlights and see where we're going to be next, make sure you go over to propulling.com. You can also see where those points are playing out throughout the season. Of course, we want you to hit us up on social media at ProPulling on Twitter and Lucas Oil Pulling League on Facebook.
Let's go, guys. Let's have some fun on the web. All right, hope you enjoyed all the great pulling action out here at Hillsboro. We certainly thank Don Slama and, of course, the Mini Rods and Super Farm Tractors for putting on a show for us. Special thanks to Crash Gladys, of course, and my colleague Leslie Mears. I'm Ken Stout. Thanks for watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League.